Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're out at the range. We just finished up filming the torture test of the ACE pistol before we sent it back to IWI for the recall. If you haven't checked that video out, please do. We're going to now continue our testing while I'm cold, wet, and miserable of the MCX rifle. This rifle is a new rifle from Sig. You've seen it here on the channel before. I actually like this thing quite a bit. It's been accurate, it's been reliable under range conditions, and now we're going to find out how reliable it is under adverse conditions by throwing it in this mud hole. So we got some ZQI M855 ball ammunition. It's NATO spec ammo, and we're going to stick that in there. We're going to take a muzzle protector, slide this over the end so I don't get a bunch of stuff in my barrel. This is my rifle and I don't want to destroy it completely. USGI magazine. This is a contract mag. Stick that in there, chamber around. Now, as I've mentioned previously, our mud out here is a nasty type of mud. It's very gritty. It gets into everything. I'm going to go ahead and give the gun a fighting chance. I'm going to close the dust cover, if it'll stay closed. There we go. And unceremoniously stand back and throw this into the mud, then stomp it into the mud like we did the ACE. And here we go. Can't believe I'm doing that. Actually, I can because I have a history of doing this. Now we're going to stand on it. The gun seems to be fairly durable, although it's extremely lightweight. This gun is really, really lightweight. All right. Should just blow that muzzle cap off. Holy cow. Well, we got one something or other. Didn't lock open, so let's see if there's a round in there. Nope. So there are some rounds left in the magazine. It just didn't fire, but it doesn't feel overly gritty. All right, locked open. So that could have been a magazine failure or something like that. There's one of the AK mags from earlier. Oh, wow. That thing's stuck in there. That grittiness of that mud is messing with it. All right, I got another magazine here somewhere. Stick another mag in it. Now this gun, unlike the AR-15, has a few smaller parts. It has a lot of parts that are very similar to the AR-15, but there's some smaller recoil springs as it doesn't have a full-length buffer tube back here like an AR would. It has two little AR-180 style recoil springs up here, which I was worried about. I was worried that if stuff got into them, they'd create friction very quickly and not work. So far, so good. Now I'm going to leave the dust cover open. I'm going to do it again. You know what? Protect my barrel. I like shooting small groups now. I'm going to go ahead and clear the weapon because I chambered around. Go ahead and lock the bolt open. Put this muzzle cap on there so I don't shoot myself in the hand. All right, so now we got 29 rounds versus 30. I think that was weird. There's an extra round floating around. All right, here we go. Now see, we're going to let it run into the ejection port there. Let's give it a little bit of help. Matter of fact, let's just turn this sucker over and stomp it into the mud. All right. Come on, Sig, don't fail me now. I'm starting to like you. All right. Failure. Not sure what happened. I don't know if the bolt failed to come all the way to the rear. That was a live round. I didn't chamber that round completely, all right? Let's see what happened. That's a spent casing. So it looks like it's not getting enough gas. Let's go ahead. Now, you know, it's wide open. Has two gas settings, has suppressor and unsuppressed. It's set to unsuppressed. I can't give it any more gas. All right, there it goes. Darn it. All right, didn't pick up a round out of the magazine. It's really gritty. I can hear it and feel it. Didn't pick up a round. Just not grabbing rounds. Now that could be a function of the magazine, because it seems when it picks up a round, it's fully kicking those rounds out. So I want to say that's fully cycling. We'll grab another magazine here in a second. Seems when it picks up around, it does okay. All right, so I'm guessing that was the last round. It didn't lock open. You can see how the bolt hung up on the magazine. So I'm guessing what's happening is there's a little bit too much friction now in the action because that nasty, silty, gritty mud made it into those recoil springs. Let's run back over here, take it apart, take a look at it, and see if we can get it back into service here. Now, quite honestly, it did better than I thought it would. This rifle continues to impress me. Not perfect results, but again, our mud is like no other around here. My fingers, guys, are just shot. I cannot do anything with them right now. It's like 30 frickin' degrees out here. All right. So you can see what's going on inside. That stuff is into everything. Now, let's take a look at the bolt and carrier. So it looks like it's fairly clean. I don't see anything built up into the springs. And you can see how this bolt and carrier rides in this little channel here. And this is what I was worried about, which doesn't seem to be an issue, to be honest with you. You can see how those springs ride in that channel. So if anything gets in there, it's going to ride against those springs and cause additional friction. The friction we're seeing is coming from somewhere else because I don't see a whole lot on the springs. All right. Matter of fact, look how clean that bolt is. I mean, there's a little bit of grit on it, but not bad. But this mud is very gritty, and it doesn't take much of it to increase friction to the point where guns stop working. So we'll do what we did with the other gun, the Ace. We'll see if it will self-rectify here by just throwing it in some water and sloshing it around. Let's try that, see if I got another barrel plug. I don't know that I do. Ah, shucks, I don't. Should have one over here. All right, let's grab a fresh magazine and go see if we can get this thing working. Weapon's clear. I'm going to go ahead and put the cap on it. All right. Let's slosh it around the water first. Kind of wash some of the gook out of it. Now I'm going to chamber around and do it again. Put it on safe. Now this is mostly water. Not a whole lot of mud, a little bit. All right. All right, so the bolt velocity is the problem. And it might just be that the water and lack of lubricant is enough to keep that bolt from working. There we go. All right. Yeah, still some rounds in the magazine. Mostly working. Still some rounds in the magazine. All right, check this out. So you can see the rear of the magazine, or the rear of the round in the magazine isn't quite coming up. It needs to be there for the bolt to pick it up. Let's try some PMags. We have to stop the video and load up some PMags. PMags should work better. It could be a USGI magazine problem, not the fault of the gun. Okay guys, we've done nothing to the MCX. It took a few minutes to load up 3 more magazines with some ZQI M855 ball. This is a Lancer magazine. This is an old school Lancer. I'm gonna stick it in the gun. Let's see if it works now. Absolutely a problem with the USGI magazines. If you follow the channel, you know I don't like those magazines at all, and I just wanted to give them a shot. Now you know why. They get a little bit of water in them, they get a little bit of anything in them, and they start to not work properly. In that case, the follower wasn't pushing up on the rear end of the rounds, and it was causing the rifle to have failures because it wasn't able to pick up a round properly. All right. Now that we got some PMags, which I typically have pretty good luck with, put another muzzle cap on this bad boy. Let's go ahead and chamber around. Old school PMag, not too old school, 2nd gen. Put it on safe. And right into the gook. All right, now let's see how Mr. PMag does. Holy cow, look at that thing. All right, definitely gonna have to wash this coat. The wife is gonna kill me. All right, bolt velocity issue, definitely I could feel it. That's a spent case that came out. So if we can get it working. Again, bolt velocity issue, spent case just came out. Magazine's working fine. Now the gun just has too much water and friction building up in that channel around those recoil springs. All right, starting to clear itself out. Didn't pick up a round. I'm guessing the bolt's not coming all the way back because you can see it's picking the round up in the magazine just fine. Magazine is working. All right, the bolt's overriding the round, so we're having a bolt velocity issue. The bolt's not coming all the way back and picking up that next round. It's short stroking. All right. Coming far enough back to kick the spent case out, but it's not picking up another round of the magazine. Magazine's working flawlessly. Had hope for it there. I thought it was going to clear itself. I do not like the T-handle charging system, okay? I'm just going to say that right now. It sucks. Wish they would have changed that. All right, maybe it's cleaning itself out. Didn't lock open, so that again is just confirming. Oh my God, dude. Those magazines are stuck. Fresh mag. See if we can get this thing to clean itself out. Ah, come on, baby. Yeah, that bolt's really hard to pull back. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Again, it just seems to be sporadic. Overrode the magazine, the round of the magazine. It's trying to clean itself out. Now that spring has really got a lot of pressure behind it, okay? So I'm just barely pulling the bolt back, the round pops up and it's going home. I don't even have to use the forward assist, which it does have, but I haven't needed it yet. All right, it's trying to work. Bolt's not locking back. Let's try one more thing, load up a couple more PMags. This whole gun is just gritty. I mean, this thing's just barely moving. Probably hear that on the microphone. Real gritty. Let's go throw it in the water and see if we can get it back into service again. We've taken the QD mount with the 550 cord on it and got a cap on it. We got the PMag, M855 ball. Stick that in there, chamber around, make sure the weapon's on safe. When we get to the end of the cord here, hold on to it. I almost lost the gun last time I did this. All right. And now for the moment of truth. Glad I put that muzzle cap on it. It went lawn dart on me. All right. Oh, it's stuck in the mud. And we're going to bring back. This is what's like fishing with me, guys. I always seem to snag a tree. Okay, here we go. Let's see if that gets our gun working or not. Guess not. I'm thinking the gun doesn't like water, guys. I'm thinking it's hydraulic pressure that's building up in there. We'll probably have better luck trying to dry the gun out. We'll see that next. Okay, you can see how it's overriding the round in the magazine. Just pull it back a little bit, pops up. Plenty of spring pressure there. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stop here. It's just gonna continue to do that. Holy cow. Got around the chamber, it's on safe. Yeah, you know what? I don't have a muzzle cap on it. I don't wanna waste another one. Let's pull that round out. Let's do this. Where'd that round go? I'll use a case. Let's go ahead and strip this thing down. See if we can get it back into service by cleaning it out a little bit. I don't think this is going to matter because it's not all that dirty. Okay, actually it's pretty darn clean. It's the water that's causing a problem, I think. It's not helping. Inside the receiver is just wet. There's not a whole lot of stuff in it anymore. I don't think this is going to get us back into service. If you follow the channel, you also know that I've done this to AR-15s before, and I've actually had better luck with ARs. It seems to be moving freely. All right. AR is a lot more reliable than a lot of people give it credit for. I've proved that many times over the years. All right, here we go. Ah, almost. All right, well, that was a live round, so it picked it up. Not sure what happened there, a dead trigger. All right, still didn't lock open, all right? The gun seems to be working for the most part. So apparently there was some really small matter inside there that was causing it to hang up, even though it looked mostly clean. Swashing around the water actually had a positive effect on the function of the gun. Okay, that's good to know. Let's go back over here. I'm just going to wipe down the inside of the MCX and see if I can get back to 100% function. And the last test, just dunking it in the water, seems to have cleared a lot of the problems up, but it's still having a problem with its bolt velocity. It's not 100%. Oh my gosh, dude. My fingers are numb. I can't even feel the ends of them. All right, so we'll take this thing apart here really quick and just dry it out. And it's not all that dirty. All right, you're not going to see a whole lot of mud there. It's just carbon. It's not that dirty inside. So it seems to be a fairly sealed system. About the only thing that's getting in there is the water and a little bit of grit that's being carried in by the water. I can't, because of how small these channels are, I can't get anything in there to dry out those channels, really. That's unfortunate. It's even tighter than an AR-15 in that regard. So there's not much I can do with that upper receiver. You can see up inside there, I don't know if you got enough light, it's really just water. I don't see a whole lot of mud that's made its way into the gun. You know what I got? I got a little bit of canned air. Let's see if we can just dry it out that way. Let's see. All right, so it's pretty dry in there. Now the AR-15 has the benefit of being direct gas impingement, which a lot of people say, oh, the gun poops where it eats. Actually, if you know anything about lubrication, carbon is a lubricant, and the first few rounds when the gun's totally dry coats the inside of the gun with carbon, which is a lubricant and gets it going. The MCX doesn't have that benefit because it uses a gas piston system up here. There's no carbon to lubricate it. So when it's dry, and it's going to stay dry until you put some lubricant on it. All right, I'm not going to put any lubricant on it first. I'm going to just see if getting it dry gets it back to operating properly. Not very dirty at all, so I didn't have to clean out any mud, really. For whatever reason, I can't get the bolt to go home. There we go. Let's dry out the trigger. Trigger seems to be working fine. All right, so it's really not that dirty inside, guys. It's bone dry now. Let's grab some hearing protection, some eye protection. Make sure the cameraman's good. He's not. All right, now the cameraman has his ears on. Let's walk over here with the dry gun. Seems to be fairly smooth. And locks open. So it does seem that really fine debris, particulate matter, and definitely water caused this gun to have bolt velocity and carrier velocity issues. Not horrible, and certainly serviceable in the field, but keep in mind that the gun really doesn't like water. And I think a lot of that has to do with the way those recoil springs work on the gun. Of course, I would lose the one round that was just there a minute ago. I cannot get this gun apart. These pins are so tight. The tip of a bullet. But step back out here in the sunlight and my numb fingers. But the gun is completely dry inside. There really was no mud in there whatsoever. And it definitely seems like the water was the biggest problem for the gun. So, let's see. Do we have any more ammo out? Let's do one more thing. I gotta load up another magazine. Okay guys, this test will probably kill the gun. This is unrepresentative because you probably won't disassemble your gun in a firefight and throw it into dirt, okay? But I just want to see what happens. We've pretty much ascertained that the gun doesn't like water or water mixed with a fine silty mud. I wouldn't even call it mud, just silty water, all right? So now let's find out how reliable it is with just a little bit of gunk on the bolt. I'm not going to completely throw it in the mud, okay, because I know that would kill it. But let's just say, for whatever reason, you drop it in the mud momentarily, like that, okay? It's not even that dirty. Take a good look at that. Little bit of stuff in the springs, little bit of stuff on the bolt carrier. Not dirty at all, okay? Well, I won't say not dirty at all. That's not a fair statement. Just a little bit of gook. For some reason, I have a harder time with this T-handle than I do on an AR-15. All right, come on, get in there. There we go. Bolt's not going home. Forward assist doesn't work. That's not very promising. There we go, okay. Doesn't feel very gritty at all. So there's just very little stuff on that bolt carrier in the spring system. Picked up around, feels a little bit sluggish. Not bad at all, all right. The magazine's still sticking in there. Let's try one more thing. Go a little bit further this time. Stay in the slot. Nah, doesn't do it. All right, let's just get it in the mud a little bit, okay? Let's wash it off. I don't want it on the bolt carrier, or I'm sorry, on the bolt face. That wouldn't be fair. Just, all right. See if that changes things any. And I'm just doing this out of curiosity, guys. Picked up around. Actually feels like the bolt's actually moving pretty good in there. Okay, it didn't lock open. So the bolt velocity has slowed down a little bit, but it's actually working pretty good. All right, so overall, now if I just took it and threw it in there again, we'd start to see the same problems all over again, I suspect, where the bolt velocity just slows down. It's definitely not the magazine. The PMags are working just fine. It just seems like if you get a little bit too much water, a little bit too much particulate matter in with the water into the gun, it'll start to cause it to hang up. You wipe it off, it returns right back to service. We're running it bone dry, okay? And it seems to be working just fine. I haven't soaked it in lube or anything. Now what I will do is go back over here. I will soak it in CLP, dry it off really quick, and see if we get 100% function with bolt lock open, and then we'll sign off. Let's pop this sucker open, get the magazine out of it, make sure it's clear. We'll just quickly wipe this thing off. Can you hand me that towel? Hold on. All right. Let's wipe it all off here. Just a real field expedient cleaning. Seems like there's a little bit of grit in there. Oops. I just sprayed myself with CLP. All right. Get the CLP all over it. Guys ask me what type of lubricant I use. Straight up CLP. I've used this stuff for 30 years. It works great. Never had any issues with it. Let's blast off the excess. All right, inside the gun, stick my finger up into the receiver and dry out what I can. Got mud oozing out of the QD socket there. All right, it's about as good as I can do with my Yeti fingers. Let's dry it out. All right, wipe the T-handle off. Stick it back together here real quick and see if we get 100% function. I think we will. If I had to place a bet. Oh yeah, it's gonna work just fine, I think. All right. Make sure I got a round in there. Yep. And locks open, so we're right back to 100% function. So, there you have it, guys. What do I think of the MCX? I think it performed okay. My concern is that water will kill it. So if you find yourself crawling on the ground in really nasty conditions, you may find that your gun may stop working 100%. Other than that, I'd say the reliability is okay. It's not horrible. It's pretty good. I think the gun, the way it sets it for a self-defense carbine, things like that, is actually a pretty solid performer. I would like to see a little bit better reliability out of it, but again, I wouldn't say that it's horrible. I'll let you guys chime in. You've seen everything that I saw this afternoon. You be the judge as to whether or not you're happy with the performance of the rifle. I still really like this gun. It's accurate, it's extremely ergonomic, it's very lightweight. You have to pick this thing up, even though it's a full-size rifle, there's very little weight out front. The thing, you can hold it up like this for a long period of time. Overall, just a very shootable, fun rifle. I'm very happy with the MCX so far. If you guys have any questions about anything you've seen in this video, you can ask those questions on our Facebook page. I'll put a link down below. Also, if you'd like to support the Military Arms channel, perhaps just pick up a Mac patch, which you see me oftentimes wear here on the channel, $3.99. You can do that at Copper Custom. It's coppercustom.com. Again, I'll put a link down below. And if you haven't already, please check out full30.com. That's full30.com. We've taken all the web's best firearms content creators and brought them under one roof, which is the full30.com roof. Thanks again for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you guys soon.